Hey, what's going on, everybody? Andrew here, back for our build review show. It is Friday, February 21st of 2025. And on this show, I bring users' builds up live on stream, giving them personalized feedback and advice about things I think that they can do differently in their builds to help improve their post-contest sim ROIs and help them to build and submit stronger lineups into their contests. So we do this show on Fridays as of now at 5 p.m. Eastern. If you ever want to get signed up for a show, two ways to do so. Either one, email us, let me know what sports site and slate you want me to review, or you can put that same information in the Office Hours channel in Discord, and you can sign up that way. So with that said, we have two build reviews on tap for today. So let's get SaberSim up. And let's jump right in. So the first one is, they're actually both going to be Junk Dog, but the first one, we're going to be specifically looking at round one PGA Showdown, and then we will be looking at NBA as well. So let's jump over to the contest tab, and let's see what we got going on over here. So, playing some single entry, playing some 3 max, 20 max, 150 max, entering less than the max and the mini max, just being bankroll conscious. This looks good, right? Very happy with the contest selection here. We will use the contest with 92 entries, which is the most, as our review here. So why don't we click on that one? Just setting this up greater than or equal to 92. If you entered less than the max, always do that. That way it includes everyone who entered more than you, as well as the same amount, right? So that looks good. Okay, so what do we got here? Interesting. So it almost seems like this might still be like in a live state, but either way, I think we can go off of the live sim ROI. Well, no, we shouldn't, because that includes like how you're doing. Is there anything in here? Sim ROI. So we're only seeing the live statistics right now, which, see like this person 320%. That's because they were winning the contest, right? Like the live sim rate is so high. So this is still in like a live state as opposed to like true post contest. Let's just like go off of what I think here is important to look at. So the first thing, right, we're going to spend a little bit less time in the post contest and a little bit more in the build. So there are differences to how you should approach, in my opinion, different round showdowns, right? Like for instance, they're playing round one, but then they're also playing late round one, right? Round one could be different from round three. Round two could be different from round four, right? And the reason for that, you always want to pay attention to how many players there are in the player pool, right? So one way to do that is just like have all the players here. Well, no. So what I would probably do is just download the file real quick and then just click save. And then I would just pull this up. And then a quick way of doing this, right, is just going to the name column and then just scrolling down. And then I would just be looking to make sure everybody has a projection. And then like when stuff goes to 0, I would stop it. So it looks like almost everybody here, Roque. Yeah, Roque's projection. So there are 132 golfers in the round one field, right? Okay, that's actually a lot, right? I wouldn't be super worried about duplication. And then in late round one, we do the same thing. Save. SS Project K. And then, now there's like half, right? Now you're down to 66, right? So just understand the differences because if you're playing round three, right now, there's a cut involved, right? So even round 3 could be like 60, late round 3 could be like 30, right? So understand the differences and like the dynamics of how duplication plays into the round you're on based on the tournament style, because there's going to be no cut tournaments, right? There's going to be tournaments with smaller fields to start. So player pool, super, super important on a slate to slate basis, even in the same day. Okay. So can't emphasize that enough. Other than that, let's go back to the full round 1. We said contest selection looked good. What we're seeing, default metrics. We do see one rule. What does the rule say? Okay, this is the default no miscut out players. Other than that, sorting by ROI, unique rank, 5 uniques. Some mini-max exposures. Junk Dog put like a comment about this. Totally okay to have some opinions here. So I don't mind the mini-max exposures when they come up. What I would say is, just always be a little bit careful, right? When using a high number of uniques in a sport, right? Because there are 6 players in a showdown lineup. Forcing 5 uniques is actually very, very high, right? That would be like forcing, 6 or 7 uniques in like an NBA lineup, right? Kind of a high number. If you're going to use such a high unique, I would definitely use a positive ROI filter just to make sure the uniques don't cause you to dip down into negative ROI lineups just to find enough lineups that are different. Okay. So looks like in this build, you weren't building that many lineups as the other one we were looking at. Not like 100% sure why there's 10 lineups here and there were like more in the other, but just keep that in mind, right? So always good to have an ROI filter on just to make sure you don't go too far down. Looks like prize pool is being used here. Bunch of different aggregate metrics, which is fine. If these all work for you and they mean something to you, then continue to use them, right? That's totally cool. So I would say big things are use an ROI filter. I would say that your contest selection is very, very good. I would say it is okay to be opinionated for sure. And last but not least, I would be very, very aware of how many lineups there are in the player pool. And what I would do, right, is I would go through basically the different rounds in flashback. Like say you go through last week, whatever, right? And it's like, okay, hey, I would almost like create some heuristics of my own. Basically, it's like, okay, 100 golfer showdowns. I would look at the average dupes for like the top sim ROI players, and if the average dupes is low, like 1, 0, 2, I'd be like, okay, 100 player showdowns, don't need to worry about dupes. And then I would go and look at like late round 1, and then it's like, okay, this one has like 65-ish golfers, whatever, maybe like 50 to 100 golfers need to start thinking about duplication, but maybe not so aggressive. And then it's like late round 3 post cut, 25 to 50 golfers think about duplication more and account for it more aggressively, right? And you got to figure out like what that means to you. Maybe it means like you're filtering out 5% of your pool in 50 to 100, but you're filtering out 10% in 25 to 50, right? Like that's what I can mean. But like, okay, need to start thinking about it like a little bit, but then need to think about it more in the smaller field, right? Like the late round 3. So you could kind of figure that out in flashback, right? Like how prominent is the duplication problem in these different rounds, in these different field sizes, right? Because the good thing about doing it by field sizes is you can just look no matter what the tournament, no matter, at what point, like, hey, I'm just going to go look how many golfers are in the field. Oh, okay, I need to do this, right? That like goes across tournaments, across rounds, across cuts, all that kind of stuff, right? So when you create some of those guidelines for yourself, and it's not like you're making it up out of the blue, right? You're using flashback to do that. So when you do that, then you're going to have like a different process. Like, okay, hey, this is my process for this size. This is my process for that size. And then this is my process for this size. And then that gives you the ability to have a consistent process and also know kind of what's going on, right? So that's what I would be thinking about when trying to build showdown processes for golf. But other than that, give those a shot. Let me know how they go. And from there, we will jump over to NBA. I think that was pretty good for golf here to get some ideas going. And then now we're going to jump over to NBA, right? So same user, NBA main slate. I think that's what happened. I think I clicked on the full tournament the first time, and then I clicked on the round one the second time. So my bad there, but I think we covered it. And then now we're going to jump to NBA. First thing I like that they're doing with NBA, right? You just look here, playing the main slate, okay, but playing the night slate, and then even playing a couple turbos, right? So spreading out their action across multiple showdowns, classics, always a really good thing to do. Second thing, right? Good contest selection, everything under $3. So see some single entries, 3 maxes, really, mixing it up here. So really like that as well. All right. So why don't we go and look at the 20K and one? It's the biggest prize pool, biggest number of entries in their set. Okay. Let's go over to users. We'll look at people who max, sim ROI. All right, so good stuff here, right? 77% sim ROIs is, exactly what we want to see. I would say like good sim ROIs are somewhere above like 70%, 75, and they're right in there, right? We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in like the top like 20, 25 sim ROIers, and I think that this is a really good set of lineups, right? So I wouldn't be super worried here. I think that they're doing a lot of good stuff, a lot of salary, no dupes. Good sim average score, right in the range you want to be. We see all the way down to 282, 284. We see 288, and they're at 286, right? We see 290, right? So right in the middle there, which is exactly what we want to see sim ROI wise. I'm sorry, sim average score wise. So that's good. Looks like they're late swapping using one late swap build. The last timestamp here is right before the last game of the night. So they are using that same late swap build throughout the evening. I think that makes things a lot easier personally here. So I like the one late swap build. And then their lineups that were pre-slate, looks like they built them 6 minutes prior to lock. So that tells me they have a nice lean process that they're able to get done fast to account for, lineups coming out late, changes, anything like that. So like to see the close timestamp here, and it tells me that they're on top of it. All right. So increasing minimum salary, right, from 48K to 49.1. So that goes with the good projection, the high average salary. This is 49.1 and the average was still like 49.8, right? So SaberSim's still getting to good stuff there. Have a little projection filter just, for safety, right? I talk about that a lot. So I like that. That looks good. Exposures. Let's go pool. Why not? No minimum exposures across the board here. Don't see any maxes either. So all that looks pretty good. Happy with it. Okay. Team stacks. Allowing all stacks. So pretty hands-off, which is probably what helps them to be super fast. Using autofill, ROI, sorting by prize pool. Using rank fill, using different uniques for different size contests, right? So we just like sort by entries. Using 2 for the 20s, 3 for the 3s, and then they have 4 for the 1s. These technically don't matter. These could be like, 1 or 9 or 8, and it could be the same, right? So it's not going to have an impact here, but just probably scaled real quick, no big deal. Using rank fill, so allowing lineups to be used more than once if they're good for more than one contest. I like that. ROI, projection floor. This is all really good stuff. This is why they're grading out so well, right? We don't go and see 77% sim ROI, top 25 sim ROI, and then come in here and see a bunch of bad stuff, right? Like all of this makes sense. Everything they're doing across the board. So if you guys are getting into NBA second half of the season, you can learn a lot of good things from this. So I'm super happy with this NBA process. There's not going to be a ton more to do here because they're doing so many things right. So keep it up. Really good stuff. And I hope that you start to realize some of that sim ROI soon. But those were our 2 reviews today, golf review, NBA review. Reminder, if you guys ever want to get signed up, shoot us an email or post in office hours. Let me know what sports site and slate you want me to do. We do the show 5 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. But until tomorrow for office hours, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, looks like we're all set. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Good luck tonight in your slates, and I will see you all then. So until then, take care. Thanks. Bye.